Rev-A-Shelf has a really super nice roll-out shelf system so that you can have drawers in your cabinet. Maybe it's in a pantry or a small cabinet like this, but most likely in a taller cabinet, so that you can roll your drawers out to get at your soup cans or your cereal boxes or whatever. But it's also, the roll-out drawers are adjustable up and down, and it's real easy to do. Now, the ones I'm featuring in this video are for the undermount series of drawer slides, like the one from Blum, the Tandem, for example. They do make hardware for ball bearing slides, but that's not what I'm featuring in this video. You can buy the brackets that are especially designed for ball bearing slides. Not featured in this video. We're working with undermount drawer slides. Now, this bracket system, pilaster and bracket system, features a pilaster like this one, so that you can use hardware like this to attach your drawer runner to the upright pilaster and then adjust it up and down in the cabinet. Well, there's three widths available. This is the thinnest, as far as the width goes, pilaster that's available. It's 7/8 of an inch. So it'll stand out from the side of the cabinet 7/8 of an inch. And then there's this one. This one is 2 3/8 inches wide. So it stands out quite a ways from the side of the cabinet. So it'll kind of depend on, how thick, how much of a face frame you have or whatever. And again, in this video, we're featuring it in a face frame cabinet. So there's the 7/8 inch pilaster, the 2 3/8, and then there's one in between it, 1 1/8 wide. So there's a pretty good selection for how far the pilaster stands away from the side of the cabinet. So now let's talk about the height of these various brackets. Using this one, the 7/8 inch one, as an example, you can get it in a height of 19 5/8 of an inch, or 27 3/16, or 54 13/32. All of those heights are available in all of the widths, in the 7/8, the 1 1/8, or in the 2 3/8. You can get all those heights. I want to mention a thing too about the one that's 54 inches. We don't ship out a 54-inch pilaster. What we actually do is we take the 27-inch, like you see right here, and we send you 2 sets, and they're stackable. All of these pilasters from Rev-A-Shelf are stackable, so it just makes the product more versatile. So what do you get in a kit? Let's just say that you order a kit that is 19 5/8 inches high. You're going to get 4 pilasters like this. And you'll get 2 hardware packs like this. And that'll make it possible for you to put in 2 roll-out drawers. And really, when you've only got 19 5/8 inches, you don't have room for any more drawers hardly than that. So those are the items that you'll get. Now, if you get one that's 27 inches high, that's this one, 27 inches high, then you're going to get 4 pilasters, just like this. You're going to get, instead of 2 sets of brackets to connect your drawer runner to the pilaster, you're going to get 3 sets and then a spacer, if you order the one that's 27 inches high. And then the 54-inch. Well, I said you get 2 sets of the 27-inch. Well, not exactly. You'll get 2 sets of the pilasters, but you'll get 5 sets of brackets and 1 spacer. So that's what comes in the kits for the pilaster system from Rev-A-Shelf. Now let's go about installing the pilasters using the spacer that is provided by Rev-A-Shelf. Let's do that right now. I hope you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. This is the spacer. Puts you back behind the face frame. It puts you back 2 inches. And I'm using the 7/8 inch pilaster. There, that's the front pilaster. Now we'll install the rear pilaster using the spacer supplied by Rev-A-Shelf. There. Now we got to do them on the other side. The pilasters are installed. The ones on the left and the ones on the right, I got them all in there. And I used the spacer that's supplied by Rev-A-Shelf in the kits that you purchase. I have a 21-inch Blum drawer runner that I'm using, and it'll likely work with other runners if they have the same hole configurations on the slide. I use the spacer between the pilasters to get the perfect distance front to back. Now that's for 21 inch. It's a specific measurement, and you can see on your screen, I put the image up there. If you're doing a 21-inch runner, then your spacer, the length of your spacer, is 429 millimeters. 16 and 29/32. If you're using the 18-inch, then your spacer needs to be cut at 365 millimeters, 14 3/8. If you're using a 15-inch runner, you're at 269 millimeters. If you're using a 12-inch runner, you're at 173 millimeters. So that's how you would cut this. But the one supplied is for the 21-inch runner. And that's what I used. Works great. Now let me give you a little caution about using this spacer to get the distance behind the face frame. It's 2-inch spacers, so the distance between the pilaster here is from behind the face frame to the front of the pilaster is 2 inches. Or if you're using a frameless cabinet, then you would have you wouldn't use the spacer, but you would go 2 3/4 inches. Here's the caution. If you use the 2-inch spacer for your setback behind a face frame, or if you go 2 3/4 inches from the front of your frameless cabinet to the front of the pilaster, you need to manufacture your boxes in a very specific way. Let me show you an image of the type of drawer box that you have to manufacture. Or better yet, let me show you an actual drawer box that's manufactured in such a way that it'll work with these setbacks. Here's the box. And I hope you can see this. I'll set it here. Hopefully you can see it. This is the drawer box, and it doesn't have a subfront. In fact, the subfront is doubling as a drawer front itself. And the way they've achieved it on this drawer box is by using what they call half-blind dovetail. So whatever you do, if you're using the 2-inch setback or the 2 3/4 inch setback, you have to construct your drawer box so that the subfront also doubles as the drawer front. Since you are the one who's in charge of pilaster setback, how far you want to put it back into your cabinet, let me make this suggestion. If you're doing the traditional drawer box construction where you have, like this one here, a subfront and then a drawer front, like that. If you're going to do an overlay door on your cabinet, have your pilaster setback be 95 millimeters from the front edge of the cabinet. from the face of the cabinet. And then you'll be able to have an overlay door with your rollout and build in the traditional way and have this subfront and a drawer front and get a nice clean look with a 95 millimeter setback. And then be aware that from the face of your cabinet here to the back of the slide is 578 millimeters or 22 3/4 of an inch. That's the space requirements. Now let's just say you want to do an inset door and build the traditional way. Then you can have a pilaster setback of 115 millimeters from the face here, face of the cabinet to the leading edge of your pilaster. And that's 4.5 inches. And then build your box that way. Bear in mind, though, that when you go for an inset door on your cabinet, then from the face of your cabinet to the back of the drawer runner is 598 millimeters. So some things to keep in mind, but I do suggest using a 95 millimeter pilaster setback for when you have an overlay door and a 115 millimeter pilaster setback when you're doing an inset door, and building your boxes the traditional way with a subfront and a front. And now let's take a look at an application of the drawer box where the setback of the pilaster is achieved using the spacer provided by Rev-A-Shelf. And you get your spacing from the behind the face frame to the front of the pilaster. Let's take a look at that application. I've mounted the brackets to the drawer runner. You can see that here. So this is the bracket for the right side, and if you look closely, if you're looking closely, you can see that how it's mounted on there on the slide. And then you use specific holes that like the ones you can see in the drawing where the little red dots are. And then, another thing I want to point out, on the back pilaster, I have those installed in such a way that I can see the pins from the front. On the front pilaster, I have it flipped so the pins are on the back side. That makes it easy for me to hang this. I can look at, let's just say I want to go up to the 4th pin and hang it on there. I can see that. And then I do the same thing here. I can see the 4 pins and hang it on. And now I do the same thing on the other side. I can see the pins, so it's easy to do. There, my drawer slides are in. And you can move them up and down real easy. So now let's stick this drawer box in. This one is manufactured with the subfront is doubling as a drawer front. There. So now you can see that using that 2-inch setback, you just have enough clearance to get that drawer shut, and so you would have to have an overlay door front. That's the application that comes if you use the setback provided by this spacer. So now let's go to the option where we build a traditional door and add a drawer front to it. And that's going to mean that I have to move the pilasters back, and I'm opting to go back 95 millimeters, 3 3/4 inches. In this video clip, I've relocated the pilasters so that behind the face frame we have 3 inches. Or if we're counting from the front of the cabinet, for example, if we're using a frameless cabinet, then it's 3 3/4 inches pilaster setback to the front of the pilaster. And then I used the spacer to get the distance from the front pilaster to the back pilaster. So now, this is designed for a drawer box with traditional construction where you have a subfront and then a drawer front on top of that yet. So let me put the slides in and let's have a look at it. I'm going to count up to the 4th pin and drop this on. That's the right side, and the left side. And the runners are in. And here's my drawer box. And by using that 3 3/4 setback, you can see that I have plenty of room here, and I can have an overlay drawer front on the cabinet, and also have a nice clean drawer front on the front of the drawer box. So that works out real well that way. Now, it also gives you plenty of room for a standard 24-inch cabinet. If you're going to do inset and you decide to set it back another 3/4 of an inch, then double check to see that you have room in the back of the cabinet. So that's the installation of the traditional drawer box construction and adding a drawer front to the subfront. So now, this is another question. How wide do you make the box? The manufacturers of undermount drawer slides want you to take your measurements to determine what the inside of the box is. And then the outside of the box is going to be automatic. You can't use material thicker than 5/8 in this Blum application. So calculate the inside of the drawer box and build your drawer box that way. Let's look how I do it. And this is what's recommended by Rev-A-Shelf. Measure the distance between the left and the right pilaster. What is it exactly? Well, I have 314 millimeters between the pilasters from the right side to the left side. And the instructions are to subtract 54 millimeters from that. And that's going to give me an interior drawer box width of 260 millimeters. And that's how this box is built, precisely at inside of the box, 260 millimeters. So that's what you would have to do when you build your box. The length of the wooden box is going to be whatever you buy for a drawer slide. If you buy a 21-inch, then the length of your box. The wooden box from the front to the back, like I have here, 21 inches, or 18, or 15, or 12, whatever. And so really that's the whole story on these Rev-A-Shelf pilasters for rollouts that are adjustable up and down. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And thanks for watching.